There we go. That's the gold we just got from questing. Now, we played so much priest right now that I'm not feeling him. Valera is something I usually don't play. The rogue is fairly hard to get right in arena. And when I say fairly hard, pretty hard. You need all those specialist cards and combo mechanics. Uther is really strong in arena and I want to go far. So this is the reason why I pick him this time. Usually the priest would have been a good option as well, but... Okay, definitely not the Larmo bot since we don't know what we're picking yet. Equality can sometimes work. Holy Wrath when we don't know what we're picking. It's just too random. I'm gonna go with Equality, because those two are random and dependable on other cards you've got. Well, normally I wouldn't consider Commando, but this is Arena. Commando is basically removal with 4-2 stats. His stats are really atrocious for 5 mana. I don't like him for those stats, but I like him for the Battlecry. The Magma Rager, definitely not. 1 hit point, one of the worst cards you can have. But hey, we have an Amani Berserker, one of the strongest 2-drops with 2-3 stats and a good enrage effect, so of course I'm gonna take the Amani. Wisp, always dead card. Light's Justice, just 1 damage, 1 drop. Not worth it. The Blood Accelerator, another 2 mana, 2-3, with a good Battlecry if you get Swords' Justice or other swords from the Paladin deck. Definitely no Holy Light, it is just a delay card. Mad Bomber or Direwolf. Direwolf over the Mad Bomber due to the simple fact that I don't like the random effect of the Bomber's Battlecry. He has better stats than the Direwolf Alpha, but his adjacent minions effect means that the opposing player usually wants to deal with them fairly fast. Pretty unlucky considering our mana curve right now. Just 2 drops. All of these spells are 2s and we have more 2s. Let's Justice is a weapon. It is 1 damage. It's not the best possible choice, but what can you do? Like Geomancer, spell damage. I don't have any spells yet. That would benefit. The Crocolisk is a solid 2-3 for 2 mana. But I don't know, do I really want to load my mana curve that high with 2s? Yeah, I would do it, because the Light's Justice isn't really worth it. More 2s in 1. Well, considering Abusive Sergeant and Leper Gnome. The difference here is Leper Gnome is a guaranteed 2 damage to the enemy hero, and Abusive Sergeant is pretty much guaranteed 1 removal if you want to exchange one of your minions for the enemy minions. For turn 1 plays, the Abusive isn't as good, the Leper Gnome is better. So what do you want to go for? Do you want to go for the I can exchange something better with the Abusive in the following turns, or do I want to go with the it's a guaranteed 2 or 4 damage? I'm thinking Abusive, just because he has the option of being a removal. Faceless Manipulator, not with this board, and it would be dependable on what the enemy plays. Lay on Hands and Avenging Wrath, both very good cards. Avenging Wrath is a fairly okay card that can even clear the board, or be, if there's nothing else on the board, be a game ender. Lay on Hands, on the other hand, is card advantage. 8 damage, 8 health, nothing else, 3 cards, Lay on Hands definitely. That's the card advantage talking. Looking at these cards, Priestess of Olodyn is a bad pick. The Battlecry really rarely makes any difference, and the stats for the 6 mana isn't good. Lord of the Arena, taunt, 6-5, okay taunt, but due to the 5 hit points, he isn't one of the best cards you can have. An Adventure Call Mercenary, excellent stats for 5 mana minion, and in Arena tends to be one of these winning cards. Patriarch, never big Patriarch. Archmage, not enough stats for 6 mana. Ancient Brewmaster, humongously good stats for 4 mana, and the Battlecry can really help you if you've got some Battlecries that you can proc. At the moment I don't really have other than the Sergeant and maybe the Raider, but still, he is the best stat pick there. Defender over the Blade Master, his Battlecry is definitely very good, and I have no taunts yet. So, there we go. Frost Elemental, definitely not Eye for an Eye, it's a bad secret. Frost Elemental would be okay due to the Battlecry freeze, and he is one of those bigger minions that I don't really have right now. Abusive Sergeant number 2, not worth it, so I'm gonna go with one of those bigger hitters. Blessing of Wisdom for the card advantage, definitely. The Acolyte of Pain is also a card advantage, but not as reliable. You can also throw the Blessing of Wisdom on an enemy minion and prevent him from attacking, or if he decides to attack, get you cards. The Dragonling Mechanic would also be a good choice. Why? Because in Arena, when you summon Dragonling Mechanic, you get 2 minions for the price of 1 card. And those 2 minions can, in optimal conditions, trade for 2 other minions, or even go for the face. So that would be 2 cards, or yeah, 2 cards gotten for 1, which is advantage. But I like Blessing of Wisdom more. It's a more reliable mechanic. Over these, I have no 3-drops, and the Scarlet Crusader really works well. Even though she has only 1 hit point, Divine Shield means that she usually can destroy at least 1. No 2-drops, definitely. Stormwind Knight, okay removal for 4 mana, but just 2 damage. And I have more 4s already, so I'm gonna go with the War Golem. Even though it is just a basic 7/7 for 7 mana, he is at least a heavy hitter. The same goes for Boulder Fist Ogre, would be a heavy hitter, but I don't know if I need him. Jungle Panther, very good. Usually turn 3, you can use him and trade him with something bigger. Or an Iron Beak Owl. I have no silences yet, but I have so many 2-drops. I have so many 2-drops that I think the Jungle Panther is a better call. Snapjaw is very bad. Nightblade also not very good. Raider is a 2-drop, which I have too many of. So I'm forced to take Nightblade. Also, I got no weapons. This is really bad luck. Already halfway gone and no weapons except those 1-drops. Corsair, not a good card. Divine Favor for situational. Questing Adventurer, always good. Whenever you play a card, any card, he gains +1/+1, forcing the enemy to handle it. Dread Corsair, because we have no weapons yet, I'm not going to pick him. If I had weapons, he would be pretty good. Infiltrator is one of the, if not the best 1-drop in the game right now. Berserker, yeah, he's good. He's good. He gets those attack bonuses whenever it takes damage. But I got no mechanic to enrage him, so I'm gonna go with the Worgen. Wisp, dead card. Humility, not very useful. Silverhand Knight, excellent value. Effective 6/6 stats for 5 mana. Always pick him over those. Never take Arcane Golem. The Battle Cry is awful. A Divine Favor, once again situational. Knife Juggler, very reliable. Usually gets some damage out. Murloc Raider, not a good 1-drop. We've already got a few of those. Noble Sacrifice is a good secret. You can save other minions in the start of the game with a Noble Sacrifice, but Argent Protector is better. Due to the Battle Cry he has, which means 1 extra removal or more protection for the table, he's always the better pick here. Same goes pretty much here as well. The only problem I'm having right now is that my curve is really wonky on 2. Booty Bay Bodyguard is an okay card, but once again a taunter with just 4 hit points. This means that even a Jungle Panther will be able to trade with it, so that's the reason why I'm not picking him. Leper Gnome, I've got 2 1-drops, and he is nowhere near as good as an Argent Protector, so even though that curve is really not good, I'm gonna have to take the Light's Justice. I'm gonna have to take it. Light's Justice is just like 4 times Boar. And War Golem's not really that good. Great. I've already got 1. You don't want to overstack the deck with these basic guys. At least now we have 1 weapon. Not really happy with these picks that I've had to choose from. The Guardian of Kings, not really good. The stats are worse than the Storming Champion for the same cost. The Battle Cry 6 health rarely makes a difference. The Storming Champion is an okay card, especially considering how many minions we've got. It's actually a pretty ridiculous amount. I would have liked more spells, even 1 Consecration or 1 weapon. How many signature cards am I missing? I've only got like Protectors and an Equality, and a couple of Blessing Wisdoms, if I take this one. I'm looking at the curve, it's too heavy on the light cards, so I'm gonna have to take the Champion. He's also an okay card, so... Chillin' Yeti, definitely. One of the best 4-drops you can have in the game from the basic cards. Now, I would go with a Fairy Dragon normally. I would go with a Fairy Dragon, but looking at the curve, no way. On the other hand, an abusive sergeant, we've also got one of those guys. Got a few of these heavier hitters that cost more. The Guardian of Kings ain't that good. All of these picks are really hard. What would you guys pick over these? When looking at the curve, I'm fairly certain I know what I'm gonna take, but I want to get input from you watchers. Yep, that's the same. That's the same thing I ended up with a fairy in my head as well. But I do have a hell of a lot of 1s and 2s. Yeah, I think we're gonna go for early game advantage here. So we're gonna go with the dragon. Looking at these options, definitely Frostwolf. Why is that? Boar is one of those not so great 1-drops with just a charge ability. You can trade with another 1-drop, maybe. Voodoo Doctor, once again, we don't really have a need for those heals, and we're really high on those early game cards. Warlord can be a 6-6 or a 7-7 fairly easily. Blessing of Kings, there we go. More early game minions. What? What? Come on, give me at least one weapon. That's not a Light's Justice. Or a Consecrate, or anything. The Geomancer wouldn't benefit me in any way. I have no spells that deal damage. Yeah, I might have been better off with that 7. Bomber's got the random to it. I really don't like the random, but he's got the best stats, so I have to go with him. More 2-drops. Oh, man. Emperor Cobra, because he is removal and he is a 3-cost minion. Yep, so looking at this deck, oh, you would have taken Leper over the Cobra. Or not actually, not the Cobra over the previous pick. Well, still, not a strong deck. Definitely not a strong deck. The curve is all wonky. I am missing almost all of my signature cards that I wish I had as a Paladin. The only good card that I do have, or the 2 good cards I have, is Lay on Hands and these Protectors. And maybe 1 Blessing of Wisdom as well. Also, Donho, hello, welcome to the stream, thank you for your input. Let's see what comes up. You never know. Previously I've told decks that they are not very good, and I've gotten 5 or 6 wins out of them anyway. So might get wins. Also, Dimmu Borgir, I like your name. Good one.